So guys, before we begin this tutorial, we are going to go ahead and take 1 inches guideline from the top of our pattern paper and make a straight line like so. After which, we're going to take our shoulder measurement divided by 2, which mine is 7.5 inches. Then we take our 3 inches width and 3 inches depth for our neck measurement. After we must have done that, now I'm going to the shoulder line. I'm going to take my shoulder slope of 1.5 inches. You can choose to take 1 inches. You can choose to take 1 inch. Then I'm going to connect right to my neck measurement. Then I'm going to take my armhole measurement, armhole depth, which is my bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, which gave me 7.5. I'm going to rule. I was trying to get a straight line, make sure I got the 7 inches so I won't have a bent line. Then after that, you take your straight ruler and rule upward, just like so. Then after almost I finished measuring that, we have to now label this as the chest line. Then after doing that, we are going now to take all our measurements, which is the shoulder to nipple, shoulder to underbust, and the shoulder to waist measurement. My shoulder to nipple measurement is 10.5 inches. My shoulder to underbust is 14 inches. And my shoulder to waist, or half length rather, is 18 inches. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other place to get a straight line. I'm going to mark the same dots. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect with my straight rule. This is the waistline. Then this is the under bust. And here is my nipple line. My shoulder to nipple line. So after I must have finished connecting, I went ahead to connect my neck measurements with my armhole curve. After doing that, we are going to go ahead now to get our armhole line, our armhole curve rather. So I just want to label it for easy understanding. My bust, under bust, and my waistline. So now we are going to go ahead now from this shoulder slope. We are going to measure our shoulder line and divide it by 2. After dividing it by 2, on the midline, you go inward by 6/8 inches or 0.6 inches. So this is me taking the mid of it and going inward by 0.6 of an inch. Then I took my chest measurement, my bust measurement, which is 37 divided by 4, which gave us 9/2/8 inches. Then I'm going to connect these 3 dots now together, forming my armhole curve. So we're going to do this gently. Do not rush. So we're going to get it right now. Yeah. Then I was done. After I was done getting my armhole line, the next thing for us to do now is to get our dart measurement. So the dart measurement I was working with is 7 inches. Divided by 2 is 3.5 inches. So I went ahead to make my points on my waistline, under bust, and bust point. After doing that, I went ahead to connect with my straight ruler. Then after connecting with your straight ruler, on this side, you're going to go out by 1.5 inches. That is 1.5 inch. Then go in by half inches on this other side. I'm doing the same thing on the waistline. After that, you are going to connect. Please, if you are a plus size, on this part I took my 1.5 inches, you can go in by 2 inches or 2.5 inches, then maintain the same half inches or 1 inch. Then on this bust point, I came down by 1 inch. Then I connected it with my armhole curve. So just watch and listen carefully so you can get it. Then I went ahead to connect with my ruler. You can just also use your armhole curve to connect this part just to give you a slight curve, not a really a deep curve. So on this, after doing that, we went up by 1 inches. 1 inch. Sorry, I don't know why I like saying 1 inches. So I'm going to connect now with my ruler. Then after doing that, the next thing we are going to do now is to measure this curved line on our armhole. Measure it. So we are going to measure. After measuring it, we got 9.5 inches. So after that, we are going to divide it by 2 and get the mid of the 9.5 inches. So I've gotten mine. So I'm just going to do it carefully. So I've gotten mine, I've marked. Then I'm going to connect with my armhole curve. I was supposed to connect with my French curve, but I didn't have. So I'm going to make do with this very armhole curve. We just need a slight curve, not too deep. So I'm just going to do it like so. So this is it. After that, you go in by 1/2 inch on both sides of that line. You go in by 1/2 inch. Then after going in by 1 inch, this first line we went up, this very line, we are going to ignore it now. We are going to ignore this very line now. Then go up by 1 inch on this curved part. So we are going to go up by 1 inch here. Then connect those 1/2 inch we took on the side of the armhole to that 1 inch, forming our armhole dart. Then after doing this, the space in between those darts is 1 inches. Now we are going to replace that 1 inches. That 1 inch dart, sorry. So after I'm going to connect, just make a very slight curve. Just going to do it with my hand. And after that, we are going to replace that 1 inches again, 1 inch dart again on the chest line. Yes, we're going to replace, then connect back to this point. Like so. Just going to do it like this. Yes, so this is our princess armhole dart. So after that, next thing to do now is to impute our full measurement. Our bust measurement is 37 divided by 4, 9.5 plus 1 inch allowance. 9.5 plus 1 inch allowance plus the that 1 inch dart allowance we took before. So on the under bust, we have 30 inches. Our under bust is 30 inches divided by 4. We got 7.5 inches. So I'm just going to do it like this. Place it. Mark your 7.5 plus your 1 inch allowance. Like so. So you can also measure it this way. Measure your full 7.5. The full 7.5. Just place your tape this way. Measure your 7.5. Then measure the space in between those darts. We got 2. Place the 2. Then you still take your 1 inch allowance. So you see, the first method and the second method was the same thing. So I'm going to use the first method for the waistline now. So just watch the way I did my tape. My waist measurement is 29 divided by 2, 7/2/8. So I'm going to place my tape like so. You see these points, this first dart. I'm going to raise my tape up now. These 3, I'm going to raise it up and place it on the other dart leg. Then I'm going to mark my 7/2/8. Then I'm going to add my extra 1 inch allowance for sewing. So after that, I was supposed to add extra 1 inch for ease, but I like to add that on my fabric. So mind you, please also always take note to add your 1 inch ease allowance and sewing allowance on your pattern paper if you know you are going to forget. So this was the drafting. The next thing we are going to do now is to go ahead and construct our keyhole. So on the neckline, you're going to go down by 1.5 inches. You can choose to go down by 2 inches depending on what you want. So I'm going to take mark my 1.5 inches. On that 1.5 inches, go down again by 2 inches. Then look for the mid of the 2 inches, which is obviously 1 inch. Then after marking your 1 inch, you're going to go in by 1 inch again. So this is the mid. So you're going to go in by 1 inch, but I went in by 0.6 inches. You can choose to go in by 1, you can choose to go in by half, you can choose to go in by 0.6, depending on how open you want your keyhole to be. So I went ahead to connect with my armhole curve, but it wasn't giving me what I wanted, so I just connected with a broken line. Then afterward I connected with my hand. So just do it gently. So, and this is our keyhole. So after I was done, so I forgot to tell you, before drafting, I placed my pattern paper on a fold. Remember, I placed my pattern paper on a fold. You can choose to place, can choose to use a single pattern paper, you can see, but I chose to place on a fold, so don't forget, please. Then the next thing to do is to cut it now. So this is our back bodice. The measurement for the neck is 3 inches width and 1 inches depth. Then on the armhole, I went down by 1.1 inches. Then 1 inch for zipper allowance. So after doing that, the next thing now we are going to do is to take our dart measurement. Our nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm going to take the measurements and rule up to my boy's bust line. Then after doing that, on the dart leg, on the waistline, I'm going to go on both sides by half an inch. Then rule connect to the ball up to the bust point, like so. So after that, we are going to impute our measurements now. So for my waist measurements, I'm making use of 29 inches divided by 4 is 7/2/8. So I'm going to plus your dart measurement, the 1 inch we took on the waistline for the darts, plus your 1 inch extra sewing allowance or ease allowance. So I'm going to see the way I'm going to place now, 3 inches. Then I'm on this dart leg, I'm going to take it now to the other dart leg and take my 7/2/8 inches plus my 1 inch. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the bust line, which is the chest line. The chest line is 37 divided by 4, 9/2/8 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'm just going to connect like this now, then connect with my ruler. So now, after doing this now, I'm going to show you how to remove or eliminate zip bulge on your on the back of your clothes. So on this waistline, we're going to go in by half an inch, then connect up, then connect it with a straight ruler just the way I'm doing mine. So by doing this now, you won't have you won't need to battle with or struggle with bulges when fixing your zip. So this is it. Connects very well. And this is all for the back part of this pattern. Now we are going to cut out. So I hope this tutorial was helpful and useful to you. Like, share, comment. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to our next tutorial. This is Ty by Guinevere. Thank you for always supporting this channel.